But it is just goes to show how underwhelming FlyQuest is. And now we have the announcement that Quad, so now we get Quid and Quad in the LCS, will be the starting mid laner. Jensen has been benched. Thoughts?
I mean, as far as I know, the main problem with this topic is I just do not believe for 1 second, Monty, that they actually thought that he was the worst performing player on FlyQuest, and that is why he's benched. I mean, as far as I can tell, he's benched because this guy, this Korean fucking like talent guy's there waiting, and you need to do something. And at the end of the day, like, who else can they change? So I would imagine it's just a cynical change, quite frankly. Because I think it's a whack move, personally, mate. Like, is the upside going to be that crazy? Like, I don't even get what people are bagging on for Jensen for. Like, what was his problem at this MSI? He was all right. He wasn't one of the worst performers. Wasn't it people like Inspired and Whippo shit in the bed half the time? Like, and also Busio was just shit from day one till the last day. So I just don't get the angle personally. Like, what's weird is people have done this the whole time. People have just acted ever since he came back from that one split off in 2020. People have just acted like Jensen's just horse shit the whole time, mate. I don't get it. He won a championship. He was in another finals. By the way, are we all going to pretend that series never happened in this particular... In LCS Spring this season, there was a series where Jensen didn't die once against Jojo Pion. That happened. That was a real... I didn't make that up. That happened. Like, how carried could you be? Like, at the end of the day, in the game, right, this is why I always know someone's a noob, Monty, is when they have, like, solo queue logic about pro players. So there's a player in Counter-Strike, I can tell you this is being applied to all the time now. He's the guy who used to play for Australia, called Blame F, right? And because in the game, he's a very defensive player. Like, he plays a little bit baity. People take that, Monty, and if they're noobs, they tell on themselves by going, all he does is just bait everyone and get, like, all easy kills. And I have to tell them, bro, there aren't 25 easy kills in a top pro level match of count. Like, if you're getting those kills, you might think like his tendencies a little bit like selfish, but you must be really good. So similarly, if Jensen is this like mega bomb carried player, then how would any of these drafts even make sense? He's playing like the priority champions for fuck's sake. So I just think it's a weird move. Like, to me, isn't one of the best things about FlyQuest that you had veterans? We got rid of that immediately. And for what? A rando Korean? Okay. I mean, go for it if you want. Like, if people don't know, this guy's been around 1 billion years as well. He's waiting for his chance to come to a team. Like, so I don't know about this one. Like, look, maybe it's not a bad move for FlyQuest. I don't know what the big upside is, though. Surely they're still going to have a shit bot lane internationally.
So I don't watch, NACL, but what I've heard is that this guy actually just smurfed his way through it and was very good. And so I think this was always a possibility. So I'll take the devil's advocate approach here to Jensen just a little bit and say, like, yeah, he wasn't like egregious at MSI, but the problem with Jensen is it never feels like he's the reason you're winning anymore. His champion pool is super limited. He plays a very safe style of League of Legends that leads to him not being obviously bad, but he also takes very few risks, I feel like, and potentially loses lane matchups that he should be winning. He just feels very unexciting, I guess. And I think, like, sure, you absolutely can point to very bad performances from Whippo and Inspired at this MSI, but their ceiling just feels a lot higher than Jensen's right now. And maybe there were interpersonal issues within the team or the play style wasn't clicking. But the other thing too is, like, obviously I think that FlyQuest had this idea in the back of their mind, which is that we're going to get this guy and, it we'll put Quad in if he's looking good in the amateur scene and Jensen is looking kind of mediocre at the professional level. And here's the last thing I'll say about the Jensen issue is the last time Jensen was benched, his performance increased pretty significantly. His individual performance.
He's never coming back now, mate. There's no teams in the league. That's the worst thing. When he got benched, my first thought was, well, there must be someone who'll pick him up. Then I realized there's no teams in the fucking league. Like, there are no spots. Like, where's he going? There's nowhere.
I mean, I think he'll go down to potentially FlyQuest challengers for a little bit.
Yeah, right? There's no LCS team to pick him up. Look.
And I assume that FlyQuest is still on the hook for his contract. So maybe it's a scenario like when Reaper benched him, where his performance did notably improve. And they, it's possible they're just like, hey, Jensen, we want you to chill in amateur for a little bit. We're going to try out Quad. But it's at the end of the day, if you start performing again and Quad doesn't, you're going to be back on the main roster. I don't know what the conversation has been. Right. And like they do have I think Inspired has a green card now, so they do have the actual roster spots, and like I think it's pretty clear that Whippo's gunning for a green card in a long enough timeline, because he doesn't seem to want to go back to Europe. So eventually, you're going to have more we're just going to be back in with more.
The problem with that one is, why is Whippo doing the thing already? Where it's like, it's one thing, Monty, if you've been a champion and been there, and then at the end you get the green card. It's like, oh, cool. He's doing that thing where the race between, will he be completely washed or will he get the green card? It's like, I don't know which is going to be first, mate. It's going to be close at this point in time. Like, it's getting nervy at this point. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, Sunday's just retiring with a green card, which is fucking wild, guys.
Like,
remember that the Someday getting a green card was the key for 100 Thieves to actually have all the pieces fall into place to get Abadage to win the fucking title. And now we're just saying, well, top laners with a green card are super valuable, but nobody wants Someday, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, Thorin. Maybe he demanded too much money, but it is crazy that Someday couldn't get out of it.
Seems implausible. Every team says he had like a great attitude,
Oh, he is,
by the way, another player like Impact, if you want, will just play perma weak side forever and enable your fucking stud AD carry. Like, I agree with you. The idea of something like that, surplus to requirements, like these GMs just fucking suck, man. They just suck. They just whack.
But it's really just the fact that he had the green card, right? So he doesn't count as an import, and you're just gonna be like, well, I guess nobody wants Someday, and he's just gonna retire. It's just it's pretty wild. But there we go. Unfortunately, we get Someday's retirement, and Someday had been a fixture of North America for a long time, and even though he never got, I feel like, the recognition or fame or fan love that he deserved being in the region for so long, doesn't seem like anybody gives a shit about him leaving either, which is pretty incredible. And like Jensen not being in LCS he's one of the last superstars of LCS left. Like, regardless of what you think about his current performance, like, I don't think it's good for the league to have another major name not be playing.
Who's done another finals recently? There's a lot. You need those marquee names, yeah.
So, what is the drawing power of the LCS at this point in time? What's the reason to watch it? It's not, the teams were competitive with each other this last split. And I agree, LCS was more fun. I'm happy they're switching to best of threes. The product has gotten better, but it just feels like, Team Liquid is, them winning is not a good thing. Like, I guess maybe we watch because we're hyped about Thanatos or something like that. But there are just fewer and fewer reasons to watch, really.
No, the Liquid angle is like my angle about BDS and LEC. It's like, I like these teams exist. I just don't want them to be the best. Make them like the fourth best team, and then we'll have a cool league. Like, by the way, I also, everything I said about Team Liquid before, don't worry about if you're a fan of Team Liquid. You weren't even supposed to be at MSI. Like, fair play. You got here, and actually you were the best performer of the NA teams. That's actually fucking fire. Remember, on paper, it was supposed to be FlyQuest and Cloud9 were at this tournament. Like, not fucking Team Liquid. You're supposed to be like the plucky third team that gets to go to Worlds or something. So if anything, you're ahead of schedule.
Yeah. But again, it's just not a good sign for the region that they're doing so well with such little star power. Right. Why can't
I do love, though, I will say, Monty, I do love that on Twitter, they constantly write TLH as though like we're all calling them Team Liquid Honda. It's like, that's like that fucking Mean Girls thing. You can try and make it a thing, but it's not going to be a thing. Like, nobody, I'm going to say a Team Liquid 1 million times. I'm never going to put the word Honda on the end. You can gaslight me 1 million times. I won't do it ever. You'll never get rid of it. You'll never get rid of it. I didn't even used to, put it this way, I'm so G, I didn't even used to say damn on Key. I used to say damn on the whole time, and I don't give a fuck. They can change their name as many times as they want, mate. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.